Are you ready, Chloe? Are you ready for your close-up? Hi everyone, it is Sarah, your local New York City guide, and this is Chloe, your local New York City baby. Right, Chloe? Yeah, this is your first appearance, I think. Today we're going to share 10 must-do experiences when visiting New York City for the first time, which is something she did recently because she was just bored. I think it's time for your nap, but it's time for you guys to learn the top 10 things to do here in New York. So let's get into it. Starting with number 10. You have to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge at least one time during your visit. But there's a little tip that most people don't know that I want to share with you. And that is there's a way to do it the best way, and then there's a way to do it where you're not really going to have the experience that I think you should have. The best way to do it is to start in Brooklyn and cross across to Manhattan. Why? Because when you're walking to Manhattan, you see that beautiful skyline view. And if you're walking from Manhattan to Brooklyn, which is what most people recommend because they don't know, you're not going to get that gorgeous skyline view the entire time. You should also have a bottle of water or something to drink. It is about a mile long. Here are the kilometers if you're using kilometers. We don't use that here in the US. I don't know why. It's just the way it is. Now, an insider tip I have, definitely eat before you do this. One of the things I recommend, we do a food tour in Dumbo, Brooklyn, which is where you start crossing over. You can join our food tour. You go to 5 delicious eateries. They're all award-winning. You get pizza, you get falafel, tacos, pancakes, and ice cream. And we teach you about the history of New York City. I'll link that below so you can book that if you're interested. If not, definitely just cross from Brooklyn to Manhattan. And I recommend going early morning or later in the evening because midday is very, very busy. But don't miss this one. Go to Times Square at night, specifically night. Why? It's absolutely electric with the lights. It is unlike anywhere else on the planet, and it's something you need to see at least once in your life, but only for about 15 minutes. That's my recommendation because Times Square is extremely chaotic and packed with crowds, and the worst part, packed with scams. Now, I've made several videos about these scams, which I will link below for your viewing awareness. And I think it's really important that you watch these videos because you don't want to be the many people that I always see get scammed when I go to Times Square. And a little insider tip, the worst ones are the fake Buddhist monks. You're gonna see them, they're not real. There's no temple they're building, so please do not give them money. They will approach you. So just avoid those guys the most. But there's a lot of other scams that you should definitely be aware of. A lot of people, when they come to the city, they actually end up staying in Times Square and they get hit with a lot of these scams. Especially, I'm speaking to those that are planning on staying in Times Square. Just be aware of that. Your view, it's gonna be like incredible. Now, as far as like if you are looking for a hotel to stay in Times Square, there's actually an app I recommend. It's called Plannin. And that, if you get their membership, which is free to get, by the way, you actually can get up to 40% off of hotels. I created a profile where I have linked to the hotels that I recommend in Times Square there, and I'll link that below so you can just check it out. A lot of people always ask me for hotel recommendations, so I put some of the ones that I love there. And they have hotels around the world, by the way. So Plannin is a great resource if you're looking for a place to stay in New York that's all consolidated with actual real people reviewing it, not like people spending money on ads to boost their hotel. So definitely see Times Square at night, go to a Broadway show. Other than that, get out of Times Square because that is like an illusionary Disney World of New York and not the real deal at all. The Statue of Liberty, but again, I have a little detail here. Don't actually go there. I know that sounds super crazy. Why would I recommend it and then say don't go there? Well, you should see it, of course. Most people are going to do the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island pairing experience, which takes about 4 hours. I don't recommend doing this though. Instead, I recommend seeing the Statue of Liberty from a boat. Why? Because if you're on Liberty Island, you actually don't have much to do there. There is a small museum, and if you have tickets to go to the Crown, that is cool, and I do recommend that. But if you're not going to go to the Crown, it's not really worth your time because you also can't really see it properly when you're on the island. It's like enormous. So instead, do a boat cruise. This is literally one of my favorite things to do in the city. I do them all the time. I recommend Classic Harbor Line. They have the best boats in the entire city. There's a bunch of other companies that offer boat tours, but Honestly, they're really, really crowded. They just kind of feel like you're on just an old ferry, and it's not the experience that you're really going to want. Classic Harbor Line tickets are around $50 to $70 per ticket, and it includes a free drink, which I'm like, yes. So I normally get a glass of champagne. They are enclosed yachts. That's right, yacht people, not a ferry, a yacht. And it is beautiful. I've actually done my 30th birthday on one, and I also did my first daughter's baby shower on one, and I loved it. Like, rented it out both times, best experience ever. On these cruises, you're not only going to see the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island, you're also going to see the New York City skyline, complete with the Empire State Building, One World Trade, the Brooklyn Bridge. There is so much to see. You actually go under the Brooklyn Bridge. They have a lot of different options for cruises. In summer, they do sails, but all year round, they also offer that enclosed yacht. So no matter what the weather is, you're going to have a great experience, and you're going to be warm in winter, which is so key, by the way. They also do themed cruises, from jazz cruises to holiday cruises to wine and cheese pairing and brunch and fall foliage. There's so many things that you can do on this, and it is really the best way to see the city. Now, if you're on a budget, there is another way you can see the Statue of Liberty for free, and that is using the Staten Island Ferry. This is a free ferry ride that goes from the bottom of Manhattan to Staten Island. It takes 30 minutes each way. It is completely free. When you board in Manhattan, you're going to want to go immediately to the right side of the boat. I recommend the second floor up, because that is where you're going to get those really close Statue of Liberty views. However, if you do have a little bit of money to spare, which I hope you do, because New York City is a pricey one, okay? Do a Classic Harbor Line cruise instead. Is a much better experience. Explore Central Park. Central Park is an icon of New York City. It's one of the most filmed locations on the planet. There's been over 200 movies filmed there. A lot of really famous ones that you know and you've seen. For example, Avengers was filmed in Central Park, and you absolutely need to go there. Plus, it is free, which I always love. I love a free thing in the world's most expensive city. We're always looking for ways to save money, and this is a great one. I love to have a picnic here. You can just bring a blanket if you have one. If not, you can just sit on the grass. It's not a big deal. Go to a local bodega. There's all these different vendors in Central Park. You can even dine there at restaurants like Tavern on the Green, although those are going to be more on the pricey side, but it's so beautiful. Like, I highly recommend it. You can even have a meal at the Low Boat House, which is absolutely beautiful, or take a rowboat out near the Low Boat House. It costs $20 to do that. And it's just like, you feel like you're living in a New York City movie. When you go there, there are a few places you absolutely need to see. The Bethesda Fountain, the Bethesda Terrace, you need to see the castle, Bow Bridge. There's just so many sites. To make it easier for you, I actually made a YouTube tour completely free. You can follow along with me as I show you the different parts of Central Park. And a lot of people just put it on their phone as they're walking through Central Park. That way you're not only getting a guided tour for free through Central Park, but you're also getting some historical context, and that is always a really nice benefit. I will link those videos below. Go to the top of a skyscraper and see the city from above. Most places in the world, you can't go to the top of a 100-story skyscraper. We have these in New York. Take advantage of it. There are a bunch of different observation decks in the city. The one I would recommend avoiding is the Empire State Building. This is where most people actually think, oh, I'm gonna go there. But here's why you actually shouldn't go to the Empire State Building. Because when you're on the Empire State Building, you can't see the Empire State Building. And the Empire State Building is such a classic part of the New York skyline that when you're on it and you're looking out, it almost feels like something's missing from the skyline, and that's because it's the Empire State Building, which you're on. Instead, I recommend going to Top of the Rock Observation Deck or Summit, or even the Edge. I like those three. For the best photo op, I recommend Top of the Rock. They also added a new experience, which is called the Beam, where you can recreate that famous lunch atop a skyscraper photo, which is super fun. From this view, you can see both Central Park and also the entire skyline, like 360 view. So that's great. Summit is really cool if you're especially traveling with kids. The entire floor and walls are covered in mirrors, which just makes this really dynamic and interesting. And then they also have different experiences, like this room filled with floating balls, which is super cool. Like literally, it's like probably one of my favorite experiences in the city is the room filled with floating balls at Summit. And if you're feeling bold, they also have a photo op where you can step inside this glass box that is thousands of feet above street level with a glass floor and look down at the taxis, which is super, super cool. So there's a lot to do there. Almost all of the observation decks, the tickets can cost anywhere from $40 to $70, depending on the time of day. Keep in mind that the sunset times are always going to be the most expensive and the most crowded. But no matter what time you go, the view is amazing. So don't feel like you have to go during sunset. Like it's really nice to see it during the day and even at night, because when the city is illuminated at night, it looks so beautiful and is unlike anywhere else on the planet. See a Broadway show. Now, spoiler alert, I used to work for Broadway, okay? That was my real job, as people say. I worked there for many years for Disney Theatrical, so I know all of the insider tips that you need to know to get the best prices on Broadway tickets. There are a lot of ones that I can share with you, starting with if you want tickets last minute, which is how you're gonna get those deals. There are several ways to do it. You can go to the TKTS booth, that's in Times Square. It's a red booth underneath those red steps, and that's where they're going to be selling last minute discounted Broadway tickets to fill those theaters up. This is very important to Broadway shows. We always want the crowd to be full, so that's why Broadway shows will put their tickets in the TKTS booth. Another way to do it is through the lottery. Now the lottery, you're gonna sign up online. I'll link all these links below, by the way, so that they can easily be accessible to you. You're gonna sign up online, put in like what show you wanna see, your name, whatever, and normally they'll give you 2 tickets, but it's totally random. So a lot of the time people will do this for shows like The Lion King or Hamilton or Aladdin, Wicked, big ones like this, where they're just trying to fill like last minute seats, and you could win tickets, which is pretty cool. And it's really cheap. Like you could get tickets to The Lion King, like front row seats for like $40. Like it's insane. This is something you can do to get discounted seats. It's not guaranteed. That's the one thing. So if there is a show that you really want to see and you really want good seats, then just buy those tickets. And I always recommend center orchestra is generally at most shows the best seats. My favorite shows, by the way, if you want to have some recommendations, which I'm happy to give, I've seen like a lot, like the majority of the shows. Wicked, The Lion King, Book of Mormon, Moulin Rouge, Great Gatsby. Those are my recommendations for a show right now. They're all great times. Before a show, you're gonna wanna have the pre-theater meal. That's what all the locals do. My favorite spot to do that is Bea. Bea has really good pre-theater menus. Normally that's gonna be around 5 o'clock because most shows start between 7 and 8 o'clock. And they have like a pre-fee, and you can just get like, you know, appetizer, main course, dessert, and a drink, all for one inclusive fee. There's a bunch of different restaurants that do this. Lillie's Victorian does it, which I love them as well. The Lambs Club does it, another great spot. Or if you want just a more casual dining experience in Times Square where it's like cheaper, Los Tacos Numero Uno, that's my go-to for like a quick, I just want to eat real quick and go to the show. Great tacos. And I'm just gonna say that my husband is from Guatemala and he is very particular with his tacos and he approves of them. It is Guatemalan approved tacos. They're not like Americanized hard shell tacos. These are the real deal and they're incredible. So that's what I recommend. Expect to pay anywhere for a Broadway show from $40 to $300. Just depends on how you get the tickets and what show you're going to. Visit the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. 9/11 was a very significant day in New York, and to pay your respects, it is greatly appreciated to go to the memorial pools. They're both emotional and beautiful, and there's also a museum underneath where you can learn more about what happened that day, the survivors, and those that died tragically. I highly recommend it. It is definitely very sad, so just have that expectation. I recommend spending about 2 hours here. Tickets are $37 for adults, and there also are free museum days for this museum. In fact, a lot of the museums in the city do have free museum days. Put that on screen for you, so that way you can save even more money during your trip. This one might be one of the most important ones because this is all about the real New York. You should explore local neighborhoods. Don't just stay in Midtown the whole time. Although if you do stay in Midtown, we do have our Must-See Manhattan tour. It's a 2.5-hour walking tour that will bring you to all those spots. Grand Central, Top of the Rock, Rockefeller Center, Times Square, all those spots. And that is a nice way to see it. But my point is, Midtown is just a small slice of New York City. There are so many other amazing neighborhoods. Greenwich Village, you could experience that local charm of kind of a bohemian vibe, an artist community that was once an artist community. Now it's all like Sex and the City vibes. But it feels like you're in a movie. Chinatown, you have incredible food. You have Chinese culture. It almost feels like you've traveled to a different country there. Learn about Little Italy, walk through its streets. There's awesome museums and really interesting restaurants. Have a cannoli there, have some Italian coffee. Go to Brooklyn, explore the different neighborhoods like Bushwick with amazing street art, Williamsburg with just that hipster vibe, Dumbo with great city views. Go to Gantry Park in Long Island City, see that skyline view, experience the culture there. Go to Astoria, have great Greek food. The bottom line is, New York is so much more than Times Square. So step out, see the other neighborhoods, experience the local culture, and live like a local so you really know what New York is about. And the best way to explore the city, by the way, is the subway. It only costs $2.90 for a ride. You can literally tap and pay with Omni using your credit card or even your phone if it's linked. It's really easy. You don't have to do any setup at all. It's like the easiest way. Just remember to wear comfortable walking shoes because you're gonna be walking a lot more than you expect. Try our food. I mean, obviously you're gonna have to eat while you're here, right? But don't just go to like the chain restaurants. Please, I'm begging you, do not go to the chain restaurants. I don't want to hear that you went to Applebee's while you're in New York. Why? Because New York is, I would say, the best eating city in the world. We have like 70 Michelin-starred restaurants. I mean, this city is the spot to try food from around the world, but not just that. Try the food that New York is famous for. I'm talking pizza. Where to get it? I recommend Prince Street Pizza or Bleecker Street Pizza. But honestly, you're pretty much gonna have good pizza unless you go to Pizza Hut. Please don't go to Pizza Hut. What are you doing? Okay? No, go to a local pizza spot. Get a bagel. A bagel you can really get anywhere, but if you want to do the real deal spot, I love Russ and Daughter's Bagels and Lox. They are famous for their lox, and the bagel and lox is like, oh my God, it's like life-changing. I'm fantasizing about it right now. Like, I want it. It's like so good. Get New York cheesecake. That is classic. Don't go to Junior's. Although, honestly, I tried Junior's recently and it wasn't that bad, but Junior's is like a chain and I just am against chains. They're not local spots. Instead, go to Eileen's Cheesecake. This is in Soho and they have cute little baby cheesecakes that like everyone can get one little cheesecake, all different flavors. I like the strawberry flavor the best. And that's also in Soho, which is a fabulous neighborhood you can walk around and explore. Now, if you want recommendations on the 10 most popular foods in the city, I actually have a video I made on that. I've done a lot of videos. I feel like you've probably caught on. Like I've made, my entire channel is about New York. So I made an entire video about 10 foods you need to try in New York. We're gonna link that below for you as well. And it's a good one, it's a good one. Visit our world-class museums. New York City has some of the most famous museums in the entire world. There's actually a street called Museum Mile that is just literally a mile of museums. We have hundreds of museums in the city. You can't go wrong with the classics like the Metropolitan Museum or the Museum of Natural History or even the MoMA. So to do a quick overview on those, the Met Museum is where they host that Met Gala every year, and this has everything from contemporary art to art from ancient times. There's the most incredible Egypt exhibit here. Tickets are $30 for adults for that one. The Museum of Natural History is all about history. They obviously. Huh? Wouldn't that be weird if it wasn't? So this is literally just like historical artifacts. They have a lot of different animal exhibits here and great dinosaur fossils. The dinosaur exhibit here is the best I've seen anywhere on this planet, by the way. They also have a planetarium, which is really nice, and I love going to that. Tickets start at $28 for adults for this one. The MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, is essentially a modern and contemporary art museum. This is where you're gonna see Van Gogh's Starry Night, by the way. Isn't that cool? This one's $30 for adults. Now, if you wanna try some of my local favorites, out of the list I just told you, I love the Met. That is the one that I go to, but the other one that I love is the Museum of Moving Image. It is my favorite museum in the entire city. It's all about cameras and filming and videography and movie making. Gee, I wonder why I like that. So weird. But if you're into that stuff, you're gonna love the Museum of Moving Image. Another museum, I think if you're coming to New York, it might be worth it to add it to your list, is the Museum of the City of New York. It talks specifically about New York City history and the future of the city, and it's just really interesting to see that perspective. And I think as a visitor, it might be beneficial to see that one as well, because you're not gonna see that museum anywhere else on the planet. It's specifically about New York. Pro tip, many museums have pay what you wish and free admission days, as I mentioned in the 9/11 section. So I recommend checking that out if you are on a budget, because it will make your life way cheaper. The only thing is, the days that it is free or pay what you wish, it is way crowded. Way crowded. So just mentally prepare, you know, it's like, what's more important to you? Like less crowds and spending more money, or like spending less money and more crowds? It's like priorities, like where your priorities at, you know, keep it in mind. And those are 10 things that you need to see when you visit New York. Now, if you're visiting, do not turn this video off right now, because I have 650 other videos and an entire playlist that you need to watch to prepare you for your trip. There are so many details that people do not know. They just come to New York blindly and they don't have a great time. I want to make sure you have a great time. So watch the videos, link below, check out the things that I have mentioned, and I guarantee you, you're gonna have the best vacation of your life. And with that, I will see you in the next video. Bye. All right, Chloe, I feel like you really nailed that. You really nailed it.